Hi. Let me go tweet. Go a tweet, tweet. A tweet, a tweet. A tit, a tit. A flit, a flit. Man, how are you guys? How are you guys doing? How are you all doing today? Triple H cubed, Cliff, Squid. Hello. How are you doing? Bam. Okay, tweeted. Hey, Brazen, long time no see. Pretty good? That's good. I'm glad you're doing good. Hey, Lobster. My weekend was pretty intense. A pretty intense weekend, actually.
I'll support you.
Oh, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Oh, Clever Words can't help me now. Hey, man, there's that username that I love. Oh, hi, 2H. Is it quiet for everybody else? I can turn it up. Let me know. Hi, Fairdust. Yo, Bill Nye. Thank you guys for letting me be late and show up and not show up on Sunday. I'm sorry about that. I have a little spiel to say, but I'll say that later. Hey, double L. Hey, Dark Ace. I'm okay. I'm gonna talk more about that later, probably. Probably. Oh, Dark Ace, thank you for following. Welcome to your apprenticeship. Hello, Valet Sheep. Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, Sugar. Hey, Agent. Hey, Toolbot. Oh, man, I'm glad everybody's here. Hey, Zen. Hey, Reavers. Oh, man, look, everybody's here. It makes me all happy. Hey, Gillespie. Hi, hi. I miss seeing you guys on Sunday, and now I'm like, oh my god, everybody's here. Wow. Hey, Saren. Hey, Egg. Hi, Kate.
I'll support you.
Oh, Ice. Oh, wow. Oh, good, good, good. I'm so glad to hear that, Ice. Yay. Okay, good. Cool. Good. I'm glad. I've been worried. Good. Awesome. And thank you, Ice, for continuing to support the fold. Hey, Tian. Hello, Small. So it's been way too long. You're fine.
Yay!
We did a custom build, but RenPy, the engine that we used, has a pretty standard, I kind of like a template for all, like you can go outside of the template, but usually visual novels are made in a pretty similar style, and so we used what was found for there. What was had. If you just Google RenPy, there's tons of tutorials, tons of information on how you can build it if you're interested in building something. Also, hello Saint, Maine. Feel free to lurk. Man, don't even worry about it, Reavers. Go sleep. Oh, thanks, Agent. Man, look, $65,000 so far has been raised for your extra life. That's awesome. Wow. Yes, Cliff. Yes, not that I am biased or anything about card captors, but yes. Good job, Syrian. Continue eating. Am I a turtle? No. Mm-mm. Let us... I'm very emotional today, so I'm sorry if I'm like... tears all the time. In RPG Maker? I mean... To the Moon was pretty great. Yay, emotions! For a troll scene? But like a fake scene that I put in the game? I didn't get to stream on Sunday, so we're finishing it now. That's true. Tears are a part of the stream. There were four music composers. Five, technically. Saya Pip, who wrote a lot of the music, including this opening song. Corey, who did the lyrics for the opening song and sang it. Zarachi, who did Hana's game music. Garrett Williamson, who did a lot of the other background music, and Connor Kling, who did other background music. So there are a lot of people who worked on the music. And the music is really good. A Shane Route consolation prize. I mean, there's the donation incentive, and listen, I'm not particularly in a rush to get that met. I mean, sure, my news might, I mean, it shouldn't make you guys cry. I just wanted to be open about something. And I'm having a hard time not being emotional about it is all.
Asagao
Andre!
Academy, normal boots club.
Straight from Brazil! Oh my god, I'm so lucky right now. We're only 350 away. 350, 3,500, got it. 3,500, that's how you say that. No, guys, don't be stressed or anything. It's nothing new. It's nothing new. I just wanted to be more open about a thing. It's, calm down, it's fine. Oh man, we're starting on a good scene. That's one Shane donation plus one Squid donation. That's fair. The My Hana ship is as real as you want it to be. Me and Danny are very, very much supportive of the My Hana ship, yes? Talk you through the choices? Sure. I would love to. If that is something you're interested in, yeah. Chapter 4 is where it's at. I'm really curious about whether you guys are going to change your opinions on Paul, because I know Chapter 3 kind of went hard. I like Paul's being a jerk, so I wonder if you guys are going to be converted in Chapter 4. Wait, you can continue after the streams, yeah. No, continue after the streams, Egg. I'm kind of wondering whether I should, like, talk about it now, because, like, if I talk about it now, I'm probably gonna cry about it, and I didn't want to, but also if I talk about it later, you guys might get stressed, because I always hate it when people are like, I have news, and then they don't tell me, and then I want to punch them in the face, like, really bad, while I wait. Oh, never mind, don't remember the end of Chapter 3, random, just don't worry about it. Danny is the best human. She's really, really, really sweet, and very helpful, and super down-to-earth, and really creative, and very smart, and just all of the good things. And, like, very nurturing. Yeah! I love Danny, okay? Hey! Squid! Wolf, it's what the people want. Hashtag Shane Route. Squid has donated $10 towards the Shane Route. Thank you, Squid. Cry now or later. You do you. Whatever I feel comfortable with, man. Oh, Agent wants to share. It's a good thing. A friend of yours discovered that there's an Animal Crossing Chrome browser extension that plays Animal Crossing music in real time, including custom town. Oh my god. Agent, can you link this to me? Yesterday? I want that really badly. Well, thank you, Dark Ace. I would say that Hana has similar personalities to people that I've known in the past, for sure. And I really, like, empathize with Hana's personality. And I've been in a similar spot as Hana once in my life before, so I really empathize with that. Oh, thank you. Bless. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Oh my god, oh my god, I'm so ready. I can't add it now because it's gonna start playing music on the stream. Okay, I'm excited. Okay. Okay, I guess I'll talk about my news now just because it'll probably be better to get it out of the way, even though I'm like a little nervous. It's fine. I'm just not good at talking about certain things. Oh, Sugar! Sugar Kills Me has donated $15 and says, Shane Route, Shane Route. Wow, you guys actually really want to see the Shane Route. I'm impressed. Thank you, Sugar. I appreciate that. The truth is, we just gotta get Saren out of here. Boop. Yeah, rip off the band-aid. So, okay, so I've mentioned this before, that I have a chronic illness. A lot of you guys know that, especially if you're in the fold. I just wanted to be more... I don't want to cry about it, because it's fine. I just wanted to be more open about it. This music isn't helping. I wanted to be more open about it because it's been affecting the stream and like the streaming schedule. And that bothers me. Give me a second. I got this. I can do this. Emotions cannot stop me. Anyways, the thing that I have is not a big deal. So like, don't like, lots of people have way bigger things to deal with than the thing that I have. What I have is called endometriosis, and it's when, you know, the tissue that grows on the inside of your uterus, instead of growing on the inside of the uterus, it grows on the outside and like along all of your other internal organs. And so it's like, for 99% of the time, it's not life-threatening. It just kind of, it makes you infertile, and it also makes you like really tired all the time and usually in some amount of pain. And it gets worse as you age, is a thing. And so it didn't used to be as big of a problem because while I was freelance, I could just go to sleep when I was tired and work when I wasn't tired. And now that I'm working a full-time job, like, I don't have that luxury, and like the amount of time that I have is a lot slower. So a lot of the time when I'm fine, this is fine. A lot of the time when I get home from work, I just like am very tired and I go to sleep, and I sleep for too long because I can't control how long I sleep, and then I'm late for the stream, or sometimes like on Sunday, I miss the stream. These are all okay things. Having a hard time. Huh. So I just have been very frustrated. I didn't want to cry. Okay. I've been very frustrated, mostly just because I, like, made a commitment and I want to be doing a better job. And it is difficult. Yeah, it's not fatal, and, like, it's really not a big deal, so I shouldn't be making a big deal about it. I've only known about it for a couple of months, because I only got actually diagnosed with it for a couple of months, but I've been dealing with it since I was 16, and like all throughout high school and college, but like I never really noticed how much I slept because I would come home from school or college and I would go to sleep when I got home, wake up, do whatever I needed to do in the evenings, and then go back to sleep. In hindsight, it's like I sleep like more than 12 hours a day sometimes, if I can. And so it's like been very difficult trying to have enough time to do all the things that I want to do. Which is why it's frustrating to me that like it's been affecting the streams, even though that's reasonable. I just wanted you guys to know that, like, me, like, and I don't want it to be an excuse, but I just wanted you guys to know that me, like, either missing a stream or showing up late to a stream when I didn't intend to, or leaving streams early, is not because I don't value your guys' time. 2H has donated $5 and says mid-cry scare tactics. Thank you, 2H.
I'll support you.
Thank you, Zek. You made me laugh though, 2H, so you did it good. So I just wanted you guys to know that because I am frustrated. Especially because I feel like it shouldn't be as big of a deal as it is. Yeah, and I just wanted you guys to know that I'm like trying. To keep myself accountable and to value your guys' time. And so if I'm late and stuff like that, it's not because I don't... Like, I'm not being flippant about it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, we don't have to talk about it anymore! I'm sorry, that was sad, and I was crying. Okay, I'm fine. I mean, well, I mean, I understand, Agent. I just like everybody have the things. Everybody has things that makes life harder for them.
I'll support
And like,
you.
they keep going on anyways. And like, I feel like that should be the same case for me. Like, I don't feel like I should get a free pass to show up late or not to stream on time just because this is a thing that I'm dealing with. So I feel really bad. That's all. Also, Brazen has also resubscribed after 3 months and says, oh wow, it's been 3 months. Yeah, it has already. And Dan has donated $5 and says, I'm fine. Never feel bad about taking care of yourself. You're an awesome and caring person and you deserve all the breaks and naps and sleep. And also, this is in no way towards a Shane round. Well, too late, Dan. It already is. So, wings. So thank you guys for just, like, hearing me out on that. I'm sorry. It was self-indulgent. I just, like, felt like I needed to tell you guys. Because I felt bad just being like, I'm tired today, so I can't, I feel like you guys should know why that's happening. That's all. Cool. But I really do enjoy streaming. Like, that's the only reason it upsets me. Is because I very much enjoy it. Okay, I'm gonna just, real quick, I'm gonna go blow my nose. And then we're gonna keep streaming is what we're gonna do. I'm sorry, give me a second. I see you guys doing the blow your nose dance. I'm sorry. People have like way more serious things to deal with than because like I said, endometriosis is whatever because it's not gonna kill me, so like it's actually really fine. So I'm sorry for making a big deal about it. I just wanted you guys to know. Anyways, we are here to try and see whether you guys fall in love with Paul. Like, that's why I'm here. I need to see whether I, like, wrote chapter 4 well enough that you guys can forgive all of his sins of chapter 3. God, you guys are so being really nice to me right now. Thank you. I really do appreciate that you guys, like, understand and are not upset. And have never been upset at me when I've had to cancel the streams. Like, I really appreciate that. Because that makes it a lot easier for me, so thank you. Moving on, chapter 3. You guys are funny. So, I really like the scene. It wasn't long before I found myself in an actual place instead of just wandering the halls endlessly. You guys are very nice. And I'm not gonna cry about it, but you guys are very nice. I stepped into the library and meandered through the shelves, mind racing. Had I overreacted? Was Paul really being a jerk, or was I being too sensitive? Stop being nice to me! Cliff? Cliff has donated $5 and says, "Take it from someone who's been all over the spectrum of health. You say that people have worse things than you, but it's all subjective. If you're feeling as bad as you've ever felt, you're as bad off as anyone else who feels as bad as they've ever felt." Thank you, Cliff. Honestly, you pop into my mind a lot when I'm having bad days. I'm like, Cliff can do it, I can do it. Cliff's so positive about things, I can do it. It took such a level of either complete disregard or complete stupidity to ask me something like that after our misunderstanding. I couldn't fathom it. There was no way he could have done that with good intentions. So, for anybody who doesn't remember, since it was last Thursday, Paul asked after their fake date, where Hana was like, "Hey, do you want to kiss me?" And Paul was like, "No, this wasn't a date." And Hana was like, crushed in the heart. Paul was like, "Hey, do you want to fake date me?" And Hana was like, "Are you literally kidding me right now, you demon spawn?" And she like marched off very upset, and she went to the library, which is where we are now. So that's what was so that's what was happening. He's very stupid. It's like, it's great. He did, Paul did. Oh. See, I'm such a hypocrite, Toolbox, because whenever anybody else is like sick, I'm like, take care of yourself, GD! So, take care of yourself, Toolbox. Paul used us for his political gain like we were pawns in his life? If you say so, Chan. If you really think. As I switched from one aisle to the next, my steps slowed. I traced my fingers along the back spines of the books, looking at the titles. Guide to the Internet for Supremely Dumb People. The Hope That Hope Hoped. Ancient Alchemy as Described by an Immortal Bunny. Asagao's collection of books was unique and thorough, and I regretted that I hadn't spent much time here until now. Oh, hello. It's you again. Old person voice. I jumped slightly. Mr. Saitomo stood next to me, peering over my shoulder. I didn't take you for one interested in the alchemical processes of bunnies, but now I feel short-sighted. Hi, Tina. He smiled at me, and I smiled hesitantly back. I was hoping I would run into you again. It's not often one meets someone such as yourself. There were a couple of people written. There were a couple. Most of them didn't, like, were only mentioned it jokingly. Because they were like, well, obviously Hidden Block are like the antagonists, and, you know, all the guys had to have flaws. So they completely understood. They only just, like, slightly ribbed me. And they were fine with it. He gestured to the top of my skull. It took me a few seconds to realize he was referring to my hair. The archive channels... Thank you, Squid. I appreciate that. Archives of the Fold. You know, I knew a young woman who reminded me of you. She didn't have pink hair like you do, but she had the same eyes. You wouldn't happen to be a Mizuno, would you? But how? He gave a hearty laugh. Your mother seemed like the type not to let go of her maiden name. I'm happy to see that hasn't changed. Hadn't. She's no longer with us. To my surprise, Mr. Saitomo nodded as if he fully expected this. It's not rare to see something like that in her case. What do you mean? How did you know my mother? The old man twirled his beard, eyes glinting. I taught her flower arrangement. I taught her flower arrangement in her old school, long before I was appointed to Asagao. She was exceptionally talented. I remember she wanted to start a flower shop. Syrian, I'm gonna read your thing in a little bit. So that I can give it the attention it deserves. My father makes pottery and they sold the flowers in the vases they were potted in. The old man hooted again, slapping his knee. A clever idea. Clever she was, too. I see you share her intelligence. It would be difficult for someone of your financial status to come here otherwise. I glanced down at my clothes, suddenly self-conscious. It wasn't that apparent that I didn't have money, was it? I suppose it's the curse of the main character, isn't it? Main character? Mai called me that too. He nodded sadly. You can't help the effect you have on the people around you. Don't fret, my dear. Why does it sound like you're talking in circles? Are you trying to tell me something, or... Genre savvy too? But you get it then. Sometimes people find different ways to say what they want to say. Don't worry so much about that boy. I know he's difficult to deal with, but he really has the best intentions. If you can believe in that, you will overcome everything. He nodded sagely, then turned away. You're just leaving, then? He crept slowly away, resembling a toad, or at least a small green imp of some sort. I frowned. Whatever his motive for approaching me in a library to deliver cryptic information regarding something he had no way of knowing just happened, his advice was sound. I had, after all, refused Paul's offer. That should be the end of that. The least I could do was show up to the meeting again after class. If I didn't do that, I might as well leave the campaign. Bitterly, I shoved the books as far back in their shelves as they could reach, smiling when I heard the satisfying clunk of their ends hitting the wood. There were only 2 weeks until the tournament and the election. I could last until then. Yeah, man, you gotta break the wall to destroy the tension that happened from the end of the third route. That's the bam. Aw, thank you, Suga. So, like, that's why when people are like, I played all the routes, but not the Paul route, I'm like, but the Paul route, but the Paul route though. I'm like, don't you want to know about the lore of the main character though? Like, don't you want to know that it's a real thing and that... I almost said something that's a spoiler, actually, never mind. Yeah, Zach, you! So during that scene, Syrian dude donated $5 and said, my mom has chronic pain stemming from a car accident that messed up her neck. It limits what she can do with her arms. She also has a thyroid problem that causes chronic fatigue. Something as simple as making lunch drains her. I completely understand, girl. Thank you, Syrian. I'm sorry to hear that about your mom. But, But I'm glad she has you as a son because I feel like you take care of her. Thank you for sharing that. And for donating. Thank you, Fallen. Because I didn't watch that much continue, so I was really worried that I did poorly. So thank you. Yeah, no spoilers, or you have to time me out. I know, right? I'm the one about no spoilers. I can't spoil my own self. Hearts for Syrian. I avoided Mai's and PBG's questioning eyes all through class, concentrating intensely on the small doodles I made in the corner of my notebook. See, I love it because they're purple hearts, which I love purple. Only one person had seen the whole thing coming and therefore accepted my odd behavior. John. Really? Oh yeah. When I made eye contact with him, he nodded at me, a sympathetic smile on his lips. Man, I'm so bothered that I used the old script. Then he looked away. All the love to those of you who struggle with or know someone who struggles with chronic pain. Yes, all of the love. Yo, we in this together, though. We in this together. Finally, class was over and I pulled on my backpack. The end of days had come. It was time to swallow my pride. It does, yeah, Egg, it does help to know how supportive the chat is. Like I said earlier, the fact that when I am late, or when I do end early, or when I do miss streams, the fact that you guys understand is like a really big deal to me, because I already feel really bad about it, so if you guys were, you know, upset, like, mad at me, then I would feel even worse, so yeah. Which is not to say that you can't be upset. You can totally be upset, that's valid. Moving on. Finally, class was over, and I already read that. Seeing the grim determination on my face, Mai frowned. Are you sure you're gonna be okay? Don't worry, Mai. I stretched my neck, then grinned. I'll be fine. I mean, yeah, you guys have lives. It's, you know, I shouldn't be so self-centered. I stood outside of the meeting room, heart in my mouth. It wasn't often that I had to swallow my pride. It wasn't often I had to face a room full of people and tell them that, although I meant what I said, I completely overreacted. I swallowed hard. When I entered the room, the three boys, who had been discussing something in a tight circle in the center of the room, turned to stare me down like the worm I was. Hey guys. Hana. It was an awkward stalemate. Nobody moved either to welcome me in or to shove me out. My PPG is an underrated ship. I closed the door and walked to my usual chair, setting my bag down in its seat. So I wanted... I'm sorry. I stared at Paul in surprise. Sensing the tension in the air, Nick and Josh stepped out of the room and gave us our space.
Really?
You're sorry? He sighed. Again, like, you're a robot who only activates when the Twitch notification comes on. I wanted to pretend like your allegations were false, but I realized you were correct. I was using you for publicity, and not particularly treating you like a human being, or a full-fledged member of the team. There are reasons for this, but I don't think I could tell you why. It would only make things worse between all of us. That's really fair, Mine. Like, when I go to sleep early, everybody gets to sleep. Hey! So for now, I hope you can accept my full apology and my intentions to change my behavior. He bowed 90 degrees in front of me and I threw up my hands. Please stop this. Stop. Straighten up. Stop. He was acting like an actual politician towards me, like we weren't even friends. I physically grabbed him and straightened him up. Sit. Get that wine, agent. I would join you, but I got water here. I pointed at the teacher's desk and he obediently sat on its edge. Paul, look. I know the election has been putting a lot of stress on you, but you've got to live life outside of it too. I know I do. You don't have to tell me this. Are you sure? I think I do. You've been relating everything back to the election. I haven't heard you talk about the tournament or your classes in weeks. I remember that video, Fallen. Oh, ramen noodles and a blanket. Oh, that sounds like a good time. I don't even think Jeff's got much of a leg on you. We're clearly in the lead with all the publicity we've been doing. That's what you think. I disagree. Most students seem disinterested in the election. We could just get a way to make them active participants in our name. He started, and I jumped. I've got it! Nick! Josh! Nick and Josh burst through the door of the classroom and looked from me to Paul.
Yeah.
Let's have a date auction!
What?
Writer's tears? Oh my god! I want some, John! Send me writer's tears. I mean, I guess I could just drink my own tears if I wanted. A date auction? I want to see this one, Squid. Same. Same, Squid. What do young people care about? If online autocompletion searches are to be believed, they care about one thing. Romance. I'm sure you could put that differently. Right now, Asagao is against romance. But if we can find a way to make romance approachable, to make it fun, to turn it into a fundraiser for the school, it's a win-win. I stared at Paul in shock. He heard absolutely nothing I just said to him, and I couldn't tell whether I found his relentless drive annoying or adorable. Certainly it was awe-inspiring. I doubt I could make any guys compete in a date auction, but that's where you come in, Hana. I need you to gather all the girls you can, from your dorm or your classes or wherever, as long as they're girls and students at Asagao. Rally together the army! This will be my final play! Nick and Josh politely clapped. I wanted to crawl into a hole. There was, again, nothing I could do. You'll do it, won't you, Hana? You'll talk to the women folk for me? So, what are you guys thinking? What are you guys thinking over my dead body? Or I can see you're not gonna let this go. What are you thinking? How you feeling about it? What do you think? How do you feel about dating hot girl auction things? Yeah, women folk. Not let this go. Cliff votes for not let this go. Over my dead body, says Glacier. Not let this go, dead body. Not let this go. We gotta do it. Over my dead body, be sassy. Not let this go. I counted those on the wrong hands. Let's start over. Not let this go. Over my dead body. Not let this go. Dead body. Let's go. Dead body, dead body. Not let this go. Let this go. Dead body. Let this go. Let this go. Dead body. Let this go. Dead body. Dead body. It's like tied. It's, yeah, straw poll time. It's like very tied. I can't do it, guys. I only have so many fingers. Dead. Let this go. Sometimes I wonder, like, because I don't think that I make the straw polls public, but if I did make the polls public, what would people think? Because usually they're not the full choice options, there's just single words. Like, which? Dead. Let this go. Like, I feel like you could turn this into a kind of wonderful poem, almost. If I just saved pictures of all of the... I say as I take an actual picture of it because I'm like, yeah, I could try it. See if it works out. Make poems about it. Oh, Let This Go is winning by a single vote. Just kidding, 2 votes. Just kidding, you guys are still voting. I'm gonna wait. Wait a hot minute. Make bones? It's because my nose is stuffed up. Because I cried tears. Look at this little cutie baby that I bought when I went with Todd and some of his friends from California down to the pier and we looked at the Ferris wheel. It's a really pretty Ferris wheel, but we didn't get to ride it because nobody wanted to ride the Ferris wheel. Even though I'm terrified of heights, I want to ride the Ferris wheel at night. It would be so pretty. But look at this. This guy's name is Happy. Happy's a lesser panda, and even though he's lesser, he's still happy. That's motivational. Like my name, I am very happy all the time. I am caring and compassionate too. And purple. That's why I got it. Let's ride the Ferris wheel. Okay. Well, sometimes I cry blood lobster. You know, I'm hardcore. Alright, it looks like we're ending at 17 votes for Let This Go and 15 votes for Dead. Let This Go wins. Of course they're still blinking. They're alive, you know? Their eyes gotta blink. They're just standing there. Can you imagine if this was actually how it was? Like, you ask someone a question and you waited there, like, not moving for 3 minutes, like... Okay, girl. I can see you're not going to let this go. Blood lobster. Hey. Purple's my favorite color too, Toolbox! Oh my gosh! Sorry. The Great Wheel. The Great Wheel in the Pier, I think. That one. The, like, sky... It's called, like, the sky something. The sky plane wheel. Paul nodded eagerly, the fire of 7 horse-drawn chariots in his eyes. I sighed. I'll do it. I'll do it.
Hana!
Hana! Paul pulled me into a hug. Nick and Josh balked and I flushed. Oh, right. Sorry. Professional distance. Paul pulled away. I took 3 steps back from him. Then I'll get going. Someone asks you a question and you send a straw poll to your friends while they wait for an answer. Yeah. We'll have it this Friday. That gives me all next week to work on my speech. Or prepare for the tournament, right?
Mamma mia!
Oh man, that's the day after, isn't it? Don't worry, I've got this. I've totally got this. I closed the door with a sigh. So I don't remember who it was, whether it was maybe Kate or Danny, who was like, wow, Hana sighs so much. We're gonna need so many sighs for the continue route. Suffice to say, that was not at all how I expected that situation to go. But then, when it came to continue, it never was. Saren! Did somebody ask for the PO? Or is it just input from Saren? Give Saren the credit. I told Mai about the plan that evening, my head bobbing from side to side. Paul and Continue play 70s and 80s arcade beat-em-ups. Or was it 80s and 90s? Arcade beat-em-up games. I don't know how I'm gonna tell everyone, though. Isn't that a weird thing to do? I don't want them to feel like pieces of meat. The more I thought about the date auction, the more I realized it could be harmless. Maybe even fun. But I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to get around the knee-jerk reactions of a charity auction. It was squicky. Mai looked up at me from where she was hanging half off my bed. I mean, it is for charity, isn't it? I nodded.
Bingo.
Then trust me, there's nothing rich people love more than charity. I don't know. Don't worry, I got this. She stood up and moved to the door. What are you doing? Don't worry, it'll be fine. Mai, wait! Mai stuck her head out of our doorway.
Hey, who wants to date boys for charity?
There was a brief silence. Then... What? Dating boys? Affirmative. This is a standard high school experience. I am eager to participate. Mai held up her hands to the clamoring masses and they went quiet. I imagined them staring up at Mai like she was some kind of savior, like little chipmunks. Paul, our current president, is holding a date auction. She winked. If you ever wanted a chance for your boyfriend to prove his love for you, or maybe that guy you've been ogling in the gym to casually reciprocate, yes, I'm looking at you, Naomi, then you should all participate.
Uh-huh.
It's only going to make our academy stronger in the meantime. There was a murmur of assent and Mai smiled.
Bye-bye.
Great, then I'll see you all on Friday. Spread the word. Mai shut the door and jumped back onto my bed, a smug smirk on her face.
What?
How? You... Not everything is as big a deal as you seem to think it is, Hana. Just talk to people and throw ideas out there. Something will stick. People are more forgiving than you think they are. Man, I've never I've never interpreted Kakusu as that robotic either. She always just sounds like a normal girl in my head, but I know I can't do the voice that I think of for Kakusu, so instead robot. It was easy for Mai to say. Mai was always brash, loud, semi-obnoxious, even if that was what I loved about her. It was easier for her to be outlandish than for me. People would think it was saying something about me, like I snapped. Mai picked up my stuffed rabbit and stared at it, tweaking her nose from side to side, as if sniffing. But then, I didn't really know all that much about her, did I?
Hey!
Mai? Do you have a dream?
What?
What? I know you're going to school here because your parents basically made you, but you have a passion, right? Other than Jared, I mean.
Well...
Nice emotes, brazen. Well, I guess I do. What is it? Volleyball? Public speaking? Acting? Modeling? Whoa, you're giving me way too much credit. Well, if I had the chance, I'd want to do two things. The first is start up a heavy rock band called the Pardon Mize, where I can play a badass red electric guitar, or maybe a bass, and swing my hair all over the stage like a total beast. I nodded. I see it. The other thing is, well, I don't know if I could ever really do it, but I always thought it'd be fun to be a writer. Listen, I know what you guys are gonna say. No, it's not true. It just, listen, it has to do with something that happens in Satch's route. Shut up. Oh yeah? That explains why you were so excited about the letter to the editor.
Seriously?
Why don't you try applying for the school newspaper? If Continue can have a column, certainly you could do it.
What?
What? Me? Oh, no. No, not me, no. I'm not good enough yet. There's no way I could ever do that. I'll keep practicing, and someday when I actually have something to offer, I'll think about it. But...
No!
No, Hana. She whirled on me, a finger raised like she was talking to a dog. I whimpered. Shouldn't you be practicing for the tournament or something? I sighed and stood, my knees cracking a bit. Yeah, I should.
Really?
Were those your legs? My god, Hana, you're like an old man. I chuckled softly and shooed her off my bed. It was time for me to practice. But as I pulled out my phone, I remembered something Mai did for me a few months ago, back at the start of the year. You should accept. Mai believed in me and my abilities, even when I didn't believe in myself. Wasn't there some way I could return the favor? You always thought Mai was more based off of Heidi. Heidi's super chill. Super chill and sweet. The weekend finally came. All of the routes have those? I woke with the fear of God in me and dressed rapidly. I was one of the people managing the event after all, and it wouldn't do to show up after the girls who were actually participating. The hallway was already filled with the sounds of girls getting ready in the morning. Smells of straightened hair, fruity perfume, and floral shampoo drifted aimlessly down the corridor. Why on earth were these girls excited about being bet on? Sure, it was a very rare case of dating that was 100% condoned by Asagao Academy, but... Then there was the idea that they could go on stage and nobody would bid on them. No, I wouldn't do it in 1,000 years. Not even if someone offered to pay me.
Hana.
Please, Hana, I'll pay you. I'll do anything. I should have known. I should have seen this coming. There was no way Paul would let this opportunity slip by. No way he wasn't going to make his campaign manager show her support by participating in the actual event. Over my limp and dead body. Come on, what are you afraid of? You're a gorgeous girl. Any guy would be lucky to have you. I shot a glare at him and he changed tacks. We need someone to go first, to let the others know how it's done, and to put the girls at ease. There's no one else I could trust with this responsibility. I feel like I've never actually seen a date charity auction happen, but I would also definitely do it. But I probably wouldn't actually. I would like to be bid on. I would like to then no longer be held obligated for anything after the actual bidding happens. I'm just curious about it. I want to know how that situation would end up, because I'm pretty sure that how it's going to end up is just my guy friends will bid on me so that I don't feel sad, and I want to know what happens. Paul.
Right?
Right? He turned to Nick and Josh, arms outstretched.
Oh, I know that.
I'm right, aren't I? This is a great idea, isn't it? Nick blushed furiously. I mean, it isn't a bad idea. I heaved a heavy sigh. And how is this supposed to help your campaign exactly? Publicity, of course. I massaged my temples. There was no way he would let me out of it. In fact, I could see him literally smacking me over the head and throwing me on stage before I could see him letting me get away with this. Fine. Fine. I'll do it. If a dude who isn't my friend bids on me, I have no doubt that my friends would like outbid him for my own help. He grabbed my hands, pulling them up to his chest in that odd, familiar way of his.
Really?
Hana, you angel of angels! If you don't win the campaign after this, I will haunt you to your grave. Doesn't that just mean you'd follow me around for the rest of your life? I'm more than up for that. Whoa, Paul, that was so forward of you! Oh my gosh! I sighed and made my way behind the platform booth. I'm pretty sure those actual... I've always heard that celebrity dinner date things are rigged, and also that if they aren't rigged, that they have like 1,012 fail-safes. It was a slightly chilly day. The sun wasn't out, and I expected that to thin the crowds, but my expectations were incorrect. A fair chunk of boys and a handful of incredibly excited girls soon filled the seats, and when 11 o'clock finally hit, Paul took the stage. When maybe some rich dude could outbid them. I will pay them! I will pay my friends to bid on me. Hey Maya! Welcome back! Thank you for resubscribing and continuing to support the fold. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you from the depths of my heart for attending the first annual Asagao Date Auction, or as it will henceforth be known, ADA! Golf claps. There was a small smattering of applause. Evidently the crowd just wanted him off the stage. Yeah, we didn't come here for boys. Blech. As you know, this is a fundraiser for the school, so we have a few rules to follow. A single one-on-one dance or something like that. I mean, I'm just saying that if I were to go on a date auction thing, I would like have written in my little date contract, Cara reserves the right to punch you in the face if you are awful. And terminate the date under any circumstances. There we go. Boom. Boom. You're paying for the opportunity, not the certainty. First, keep it civil. Second, please raise your hand when you're ready to bid. Third, the participant has the right to refuse your company without explanation, so don't go acting like you're genuinely buying people. Some dudes might be into getting punched. This is just a volunteer thing. For fun. Do you understand me? A slow grumble floated through the crowd. It should be, John. Do you understand me? A random assortment of affirmations skittered across the crowd. I wasn't sure that truly counted, but Paul seemed satisfied.
All right.
Well, all right then. Would our first lady of the evening please take the stage? My heart leapt into my throat. What would my father do if he could see me now? I pulled back the flimsy curtain and stepped onto the stage, trying with all my heart to maintain my dignity. Paul motioned at me with his hands, indicating that I should walk around the stage and twirl or something? I slowly traced the outline of the stage and performed a few begrudging spins while Paul read a little bio he had obviously prepared the night before. Ansel! Thank you for resubscribing! And continuing to support the fold. It's for charity, Dad. Hana Mizuno, 16, is currently my campaign manager and a potential Normal Boots Club member. She has a big heart and an even bigger mouth when she finds the courage to use it. Friends adore her. Hobbies include reading, drawing, and somehow winding up in all sorts of unexpected circumstances. Winner gets to take her to a standard dinner. You're paying, though. She's a classy cat. I shot him a glare and he chuckled. We'll start the bidding at 1,000 yen. Now came the moment I was most terrified of. The opportunity for utter humiliation. This is Jared music. Standard dinner. I stood in the center of the stage, hands clasped, eyes towards the floor. Alright, 1,000. Do we have 1,500? Do I see 1,500? 1,500, wonderful! I glanced up in shock, absolutely no idea who would care enough to bid on me. And I found Josh with an arm raised, glaring across the seats at another man with his arm raised. Nick? And we have 2,000. Do we have 4,000?
Whoa!
Oh wow, 4,000. 5,000. 6,000. What I at first assumed to be a pity bid soon turned into an all-out battle. The numbers rose and rose until the audience itself was gasping with each new offering. Nick pulled out his wallet and started counting the coins in it, while Josh started asking the people around him to borrow some cash. 10 more! Well, I've got 55! Wait, I found 80! After several more minutes of counting spare yen coins, the tension somehow never dying, Paul slammed his gavel on the podium. Look, you both win. You can both take her on a date, okay? Just let us live the rest of our lives.
Oh, what the what?
But that's not fair. Too bad. My auction. He pounded the gavel again, then gave me a thumbs up. It was my cue to leave, and I sprinted behind the platform with immense relief. Several girls congratulated me as I dashed through, patting me on the back. Others glared at me. If they had poison, I would have been dead by the end of the day. I crept around the back of the audience and took a seat myself, watching the rest of the auction unfold. Mimi Santos sold for 4,000, getting taken to the beach by a much younger boy. She seemed satisfied. Kakusu, on the other hand, was bid on by a few people, including one particularly enthusiastic girl, but eventually bought herself out of the auction. Good. Good then. Finally, it was time for the last bid of the day. The audience was restless. Most of them had already gotten their dates, and the sudden return of the sun on a Saturday afternoon was making them antsy. Paul held up a hand.
Yay!
I know you're all prepared to leave, but have I got a treat for you. Our final girl is is uneccentric, an artist, a genius. Truly there is nobody with such a caring heart, nobody with the spunk, nobody with the vocal cords quite like her. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, my Sasaki. I spit the drink I'd been sipping into the empty chair in front of me.
Yeah!
Hello, world! my God, help us all, my! Mai swept onto the stage in nothing but her swimsuit. Loud gasps echoed across the audience. Let's start at 5,000, what do you say? She winked at the crowd.
Uh-huh.
I hope you girls put up a fight this time, too. I would bid so hard! As I watched in bewilderment, the numbers racked higher and higher. Paul could hardly keep up with the bids that came flooding in, mostly from red-cheeked girls. I had no idea Mai was so popular as a date, but something told me these people had never spoken to her. Mai was an acquired taste, after all. And 22,000! Going once, going twice. Paul slammed his gavel, then beamed.
All right.
And we're done! Thank you all so much for your joyous participation and enjoy your dates! As the crowd dispersed, I made my way backstage to find Mai and Paul. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed Nick and Josh sulking off together and decided to pop by them first. Can't have the best date with her because I'm going to... Hey! No, I'm going to have the best date with her. You don't. They didn't even notice me behind them, too invested in their own stupid argument. Guys, come on! Sparks were practically shooting from their eyes. Hey!
Hey!
Whoa! Hey, Hana.
I
Didn't notice you there. Looks like we're going on a triple date. Yeah, I guess we are. Thank you, for betting on me. I bowed quickly. So, Hana.
See you later.
Sorry, I have to go find Mai. I waved and dashed off before they could say anything else. I found Mai backstage, cackling madly with Paul. At least 50,000 is needed. You never told me you were going to enter, and with your swimsuit on too. You didn't ask. Are you going to be okay with it? Yeah, definitely. Because I'm not even going.
What?
What? I was hoping Jared would be out there. If it's not Jared, Then no dice. I stared at her in utter shock. She winked. My mom's not a businesswoman for nothing. By the way, did you like your bio? That was... You were in on that? Oh, Hana. We talked about this. I want you to expand your horizons, to fly like ever so many blue-winged birds into the deepening sunset. This seemed like a great way to do that. Because they had an outdoor one, is why. Your date will be next Thursday, the night before the election. Hopefully everything goes smoothly. I can't believe I'm going on a date with Nick and Josh. Well, only go if you want to. No dice is a fun phrase to use about Jared. Yeah, that's fair. Mai is a stone cold mother effer. Paul shrugged, waiting for my answer. I guess it'll be fun. Or at the very least, interesting. Then you're going. There you go. His tone was flat, and I looked at him in concern. He shrugged again. I've got some cleanup to do, and you already helped enough. Just head back inside. I glanced at Mai, wondering whether she also noticed Paul's weird vibe, but she simply smiled at me. Let's go back in! I've got this new show I want you to see, about this enchanted duck. Princess Tutu. It's really good. I glanced over my shoulder at Paul while we left, but all he was doing was staring at the microphone cords on the ground, completely immobile. Well, Nick and Josh would take care of him. Definitely. I know, John, right? Mai is so impressive. I love her. The next week passed by slowly, grumpily. As the date of the election drew near, Paul got more and more irritable. He spent hours drafting a speech and then trying it out on us, changing huge portions of it when he didn't get the reactions he anticipated. Nick and Josh, on the other hand, grew increasingly restless as Thursday neared. Our date, after all, was set for Thursday. So you ready for tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be fun. Thanks again for spending on me, I guess. I was worried nobody would. What? Why on earth would you worry about that? You're a precious person, so... Josh turned red and Nick took over. We'll pick you up this evening, right? I nodded. On the other side of the room, Paul sighed loudly, an obvious cue that we should stop talking. I can see you're very busy, so I think I'm gonna head out early. Nick and Josh waved to me, but Paul leapt to his feet. You're leaving? Is that okay? Well. He glanced aimlessly around the room. Eventually his eyes fell on a piece of chalk and he pointed to it with utmost intensity.
Yeah.
You need to help me brainstorm!
What?
Brainstorm? Brainstorm what? Audience motivating gestures! Paul snapped his fingers into finger guns and clicked his teeth. See? I'm hopeless without you. It looks to me like you've got gestures handled. But... I stepped into the hallway, closing the door behind me, and headed for my dorm. It wasn't that I didn't want to spend time with Paul, it was just that, after everything that happened, I wasn't sure I would be able to handle it. I had to put my feelings and my emotional health first. When the knock came at my door, I was dressed and ready. I glanced at Mai, who nodded solemnly and gave me a thumbs up. It was time.
Hey.
Hey guys, ready to rock?
Ah, look at you.
You look great! I giggled and did a quick twirl. Thanks! We set off across the campus, heading again for the Higanbana Mall. It was weird. The last time I went to the Higanbana Mall, I believed I was on my second first date. My real first date. This time, I actually was on my first date. In fact, this probably constituted more of a first date than either of the others. The difference was that this time, I was the one void of romantic intent. I was nervous, especially with my suspicion that Josh and Nick had feelings for me that I didn't reciprocate. Part of me even felt that they knew I didn't have feelings for them. In that way, this date was more like a conciliatory offering, a parting gift, an expression of regret on my part. Good night, Saint. Thank you for coming. They didn't know that I was hung up on Paul. At least, I hope they didn't. That would make things awkward for them. No, the best thing I could do was try to relax and have fun.
Anna.
Anna, you okay? I snapped out of my reverie. Josh and Nick were looking at me in that way that only meant I had a decision to make. What's up? Do you want Thai or Mexican? Alright, I'm making a straw poll. Take your choices! Bad date food. Mexican is bad date food, eh? Man, look at you guys vote. You guys have very strong opinions about whether you want to eat Mexican or Thai. No, man, it's like a good deterrent, right? This is good deterrent date food. Still gotta look good. What? Listen, Maya, I just have opinions, okay? Ah. You can get super spicy mistakes either way. Yeah, that's real. Oh my god, for Saurus. I mean, I just like good food. If it's tasty, I'll eat anything tasty. Thai food is really good. So is Mexican food, it's all really good. I'll eat all of it. I mean, but Maya, those are my real feelings. If you ask me to make a decision and I don't immediately make a decision, it's because I don't care. Either I don't care or I'm crippled by the emotional implications of both choices. In which case, both circumstances, just make it for me if I don't say it. I'm tired and I just want to live my life, okay? Cliff, feed me real Mexican food! Do it! Alright, let's see what you guys say. Man, a lot of you agree with me that decisions are dumb and stupid and that the entire point of dating someone is to make someone else be in charge of dumb day-to-day minutiae. I can't be bothered. Oh my god, for serious though. I appreciate that. I appreciate that you guys are vibing with me on that, okay? Man, I'm gonna come over there, Cliff. I mean, probably not for the next My Watch is Dead. Probably not for the next little bit, because I gotta save up some traveling expenses. But maybe someday I'll be able to go to a con in Texas and also be able to visit. You pick! Don't make me in charge of this! You suck! I'm wrong. I was not in the mood for picking sides. Not today. Not right before the election. Not right before the tournament. Mexican it is, then! Nick scowled, but for once he didn't seem like he wanted to tussle with Josh. Instead, Josh led us inside a colorful restaurant, the interior walls set up like a Spanish mesa. Excuse me. The waitress greeted Josh warmly and, with an eyebrow raised at Nick and me, led us to a secluded table hidden from the windows. This is my usual spot. No doubt they're surprised you brought actual people with you this time. Actually, yes. The waitress got our drink order and was about to leave when Nick tapped her elbow. May we please get some candles? God, Nick, no! She raised an eyebrow but nodded. The customer was always right. Man, I'll make a list of all the places people want me to visit, and some year I'll make it my tour year, and I'll try and go to as many of those places as possible. How about that? That sounds like fun. Josh shot Nick a glare, then cleared his throat. So, Hana, please, tell me more about your interests. He leaned forward, placing his elbows on the table. Seeing this, Nick mimicked him. My interests?
Yeah.
Yes, your interests are so fascinating. I would love to hear you talk about them. You can put it in the full Discord, don't worry. Well, I've been busy with the election and the tournament, so I haven't really had time. The tournament! Nick and Josh traded guilty looks. Don't tell me you haven't been practicing. We share a dorm room with Paul, so of course things are a bit hectic right now. Paul's 1/3 of our team anyway. There's not much hope for us as long as he's so worked up. Does he always get this bad? Nick huffed. It is a bit weird, I think. He's usually very cool under pressure, but this year he's been all over the place. He has more riding on it this time. That's true, but Paul's always the optimist out of the three of us. When something really bad happens, he's always got a game plan. Recently, he's been acting like his actual life is on the line. The waitress came back with our drinks. I sipped my pink lemonade happily and ordered my meal. We would like an appetizer too, if you don't mind. And a dessert menu, if you would. Guys, I'm not sure I'll be able to eat all that. I mean, you can order it for yourself, but... Nonsense! Don't worry about decorum. I won't judge you for eating a ton. Nick flashed me a thumbs up as Josh ordered 2 separate appetizers and a full cheesecake for dessert. I quailed in my seat. I had never been pampered like this, if pampered was even the right word. My father and I rarely went out to eat, and when we did, it was to celebrate some accomplishment. Straight A's in my report card, a birthday, a big sale that came through the shop. I couldn't help but feel guilty spending this much money on my food. And it was someone else's money to boot. What are you thinking about? I jumped, shaken from my reverie. I almost forgot they were there, but they again gazed at me as if I held the answer to all the world's problems. My dad? Ooh. Tell us more about this, Dad. His name is Takao, and I miss him a lot. He's an artist. He makes pottery for a living. A sculptor? Would we have seen any of his works? No, they're local things. I think back when my mom was around, an artist did some sketches of her arrangements. I was told she was really gifted with flowers. Nick nodded. That explains how you came to be. How I... what? The waitress set down 2 plates of smorgasbord, and Josh spread his hands like a Maggie. Eat whatever you like, my dear. Thanks, but I'd rather just wait for my meal. Nick shook his head. So modest, so humble. Increasingly uncomfortable, I was relieved when my food arrived and Nick and Josh's odd questions and commentary were put to a stop. All of us were starving, especially since we skipped our regularly scheduled academy dinner. The food was pretty good, and I managed to eat about half my plate, so I could save the rest for a snack or a dinner I missed. When the waitress came to take the plates, she set down a rather large, complete cheesecake. At this point, even Nick and Josh realized the error of their ways. She slid the check between Nick and Josh and went on her way. Josh grabbed it and dragged it toward him. Of course, I will pay for everything tonight. No, I will pay. The lady deserves only the best, after all. He pulled the check towards him. But I've already claimed it. Back to Josh, and then to Nick, and back again. I sipped the last of my drink as the check turned into a blur between them. Eventually they agreed to split the bill, and then had a lengthy argument about proper tips. You see, Josh scrawled a large 5 and then 3 even larger zeros after it. I like to treat service workers well, because I treat even the people who are not close to me like they are valuable human beings. Nick followed suit with the same number. I don't like to brag about how much I tip. I like my actions to speak for themselves. It was the most taxing hour I ever experienced. When we finally came back to the campus, they both clamored to walk me to my room. Let me, I'll do it.
No!
No. That is not necessary. Thank you. But you're a lady, and a gentleman should... That's quite all right. I need to go get something. So please go on without me. But I insist. You guys aren't listening to me. With that one statement of fact, both boys snapped straight. Right. Thank you so much for joining us on this date, Hana. Yes, I truly appreciate it. But I appreciated it more. Just Go! The two jumped and, seeing the look on my face, set off down the walkway at twice the usual speed. Why, hello, Daniel. No problem. I sighed. I liked them both, really I did, but there was no way I could handle the two of them together, alone, without Paul's help. The wind rustled through the leaves around me, almost sounding like a person walking by. I sighed again. Even now, I thought of him. I stumbled towards Poppy in the ever-deepening darkness, tired thoughts floating before me like petals. Why did Nick and Josh both like me? Why? I hadn't done anything special for either of them, at least not enough to deserve such intense feelings. It made me uneasy, especially since they couldn't tell I wasn't interested. But that was no reason not to spend time with them as friends, Cliff. But that was no reason not to spend time with them as friends. Sorry, Cliff, that was really funny. As long as it wasn't awkward and they understood that I didn't reciprocate. These were the thoughts racing through my mind when I heard something clatter on the ground behind me, and I whirled around. No! Don't you dare come anywhere near me! I will kick you 3 ways to China! Oh, Caddy? It's just you. A trembling Caddy stood in front of me, cradling something shiny in his arms. You okay? You don't look so great. Anna, please don't tell anyone about this. Confused, I drew closer to him, the objects becoming clearer as I did. Don't worry, I'm out after curfew too, so I would also... I stopped. The objects in Caddy's arms stood out to me in sharp relief. Caddy was holding guns. I stared at him, not daring to move. It's really not what it looks like. These are... I use them for... I'm not gonna hurt anybody with them. I only hurt games with them. Games. Yeah, if it's really good, I send it floating up to heaven, and if it's absolute shit, I torch it with a laser. It's not... You have guns. With which you use to shoot video games. Well... I know it sounds weird, but it really cements to me that I'm done with it. That we can part ways and both move on with our lives. It's a form of closure. Look, you don't have to understand, but I ask that you at least don't report this. I swear, absolutely swear that I will not use these on any living creature, so help me God. I stared at the gun, something dimly flickering in the back of my mind. If I wanted to, I could use this against Jeff's campaign, couldn't I? We wouldn't have to worry about campaigning. Paul would definitely win, and nobody but Caddy and I would know who spilled the beans. An easy win for Paul, an easy win for the tournament. Was there even a reason not to? Okay, so we're gonna have a straw poll here. Snitches get stitches. Caddy Daddy doesn't even make sense.
Yay!
Ooh, nice Niznob. I'm glad about that. Wow, look at the 9 of you who are evil. That's more than a fourth of the stream being so evil over there. Oh my goodness. You guys enjoy watching the world burn. So, let's forget that we saw anything. I took a slow, deep breath. I'm going to pretend I didn't see anything, okay?
Really?
Oh, hello, Mighty Mood Boy. Nice username. I like it. Really? In the meantime, you're going to toss those somewhere safe, preferably the Pacific Ocean. And if I ever see them again, you're going to be in such hot water you won't even feel your skin peeling off. Got it? That's bloody graphic, Hana. Got it. Right. I got it.
Farewell.
Thanks again, Hana. You won't regret this. I nodded happily. Caddy wouldn't harm a fly on a person's head. I had no doubts about that, even if those guns glinting in the lamplight were the scariest thing I had ever seen. I hoped my faith wouldn't go unfulfilled. I reached the fork between Primrose and Bluebell. As I reached the fork between Primrose and Bluebell, I heard another rustling somewhere behind me and again whirled around. Who's there this time? To my immense surprise, Paul stood, body half in and half out of one of Asagao's manicured bushes, a styrofoam box not all that different from mine in his hands.
Paul.
Paul? It's not what it looks like. I wasn't following you. I just had a sudden hankering for a burrito, that's all. Well, I'm off. Busy day tomorrow, what with the election and all. Have a good sleep, don't get injured, eat your veggies and all that. Paul jumped back into the hedgerow. Slowly the rustling and trembling of the bushes faded away as Paul headed for Bluebell House. I guess you just really didn't want to get caught? No, it was better not to think too much about it. I had bigger things on my mind. Oh, well thanks for coming, Moon Boy. I appreciate it. Why the fuck you lying? Why you lying? Stop fucking lying. It's a good song. I like it. Every breath you take by the police plays in the distance. The sun had barely risen that morning, the day of the election speeches. Whew! Let's see whether we get a good end, guys. Zach, I wish I could see someone stalking me and be like, man, I got better things to think about. Man. I changed clothes hastily, heart in my throat. The election speeches would be happening in the theater, which Asagao apparently used as its auditorium. It wasn't a mandatory attendance type thing, and given the early hour of the speeches, so they wouldn't interfere with classes, I had a feeling only the students who cared most would show up. But then the students who cared most were our core audience. They were the hardest to sway once they had settled on a candidate. They were the ones who were actually going to bother to vote, and whose opinions would be sought when the day came. It was important for Paul to win them to his side, but he was trading on faith. Faith that wasn't so steadfast after last year. Night, Pony. Night, Daniel. As I crept to the stage, Jeff raised a cheery hand toward me. Ouch. I stepped past him and up to Paul, who was sitting in a chair, head in his hands. I don't know. I tweaked the speech so many times, but I don't know that it's going to make the impact that I want. I glanced around. Nick and Josh were nowhere to be found. Seeing my wandering eyes, Paul sighed. I told them to come later. I wanted plants in the audience to laugh at my jokes, just in case. That's not the worst idea you've had. I put a hand on his shoulder and then, after a moment's hesitation, began to massage them like I was pumping up a boxer. You put so much work into this. At this point, if it doesn't work out, there's nothing you can do. It's just how it was supposed to go.
No.
But I wanted to go my way! I peered into his face. There were dark bags under his eyes. It looked like he hadn't slept a wink. And yet, he used his precious time to eat out last night, and then follow me home in the bushes. I chuckled softly. You do everything 100%, don't you? I try. If you give everything your best shot, you'll have no regrets in the end. That's a lot of pressure. Can't you cut yourself some slack? Good night, everybody. Going to sleep. He shook his head fervently, then suppressed a yawn. Hey, Kue! Hey, Kyle! People deserve the best of me. I deserve the best of me, too. You don't owe anybody anything. It's not about debt, it's about responsibility. He reached up and put a hand over mine. I froze. He smiled up at me.
Hana.
Thanks, Hana. Hey, man. Okay, go to sleep. Have a good sleep. No, for what? I'm glad that after everything that's happened, I still know I can count on you. I slipped my hands from under his and clamped them behind my back. Yep. People are gonna be coming in a second. Do you want me to in the audience or? Please. I'd like to mentally prepare myself. I nodded and headed into the audience to find myself a good seat. As I passed, Jeff and Ian paused to watch me go. Their eyes followed me into my seat and I waved happily at them. I definitely deserved that. The room slowly filled with more people than I imagined. As I scanned the crowd, noticing girls with their heads buried together, comparing notes on Jeff's and Paul's platforms, and boys arguing about who would win in a sword fight, I started to think Paul was right. The election was closer than I anticipated. Should I have worked harder to help him? We got so little done in that amount of time that I almost wanted to go back and strangle myself for not working harder when I had the chance. Good night, Dan! Sleep well! In a distant corner, Nick's head bounced around. Josh was in the other corner, arms over the back of the empty chair next to him. No one even bothered to ask him whether they could take it. Finally, it was time for them to deliver their speeches. Paul's was first, and he took the stage to cheers from these students around him. I gave him a thumbs up and he grinned when he found me in the crowd. Without taking his eyes off me, he pulled out his notes and began to orate. Students! My fellow Asagao students! It is I, your current standing president, Paul Richard. The crowd cheered. I smiled at him and he reflexively smiled back. The time has come to choose who is worthy of being your next class president. As might be expected, I am hoping to have a second term. This is a responsibility you must take very seriously, and I would hope that he wasn't looking away. Why wasn't he looking away from me? Badass with a leather jacket and a steel-tinted smile. He was just staring at me, dead staring at me from across the room like a stalker. I remember the bushes and wondered whether that was more true than I thought. Must rise up and seek justice. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. It was hard to concentrate on his speech, so intense was his gaze, so furiously and passionately was he speaking. I had a dream once. I dreamed of proper funding for club activities, rather than having to depend on our parents for even more of our livelihoods. People call us spoiled, and why should we let them be correct? Even if his words weren't reaching me, his feelings were. Paul's sincerity came across in everything he did. From the look in his still staring eyes, to the way he flung his arms out, to the fact that he was no longer even using his notes. A loud laugh came from the left of me, and I realized Paul had made his joke. Rippling giggles floated through the audience, and Paul smiles. So I say to you, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. Today we celebrate our independence from Asagao's frankly horrible club budgeting, fundraising, and exploitative system. Today we celebrate our financial independence! Paul flung his note cards across the stage with a flourish, and the crowd stood with roaring applause. I jumped up and punched the air, and Paul pointed at me and gave me a thumbs up. He nailed it! As he headed backstage, passing Jeff on his way up, his shoulders slumped. The energy left him. His lack of sleep from the night before, probably several nights before, finally caught up to him. Squid, that's amazing, Squid. I crept out of my seat and along the aisle as Jeff took his position on stage, script in hand. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you an idea for consideration. The Galactic Empire. Why, thank you, John. That opening line almost made me want to stay and listen to the rest of his speech, but Paul needed me. I ducked backstage.
Paul.
Paul! Paul was laying flat on the ground, hand over his eyes. I ran to his side. Oh my god, Paul, are you okay? Are you sick? Did you overwork yourself? You stupid... Paul waved a hand. I'm fine. I'm just processing. I heaved a sigh of relief. You did it! You had a great speech! Did I? I don't remember much about it. Kate? Did people laugh? They did. Did people clap? A standing ovation.
Oh, sick!
Sick. Oh, sick! She's going on a date with me! Paul let out a slow, deep breath. I watched him carefully. Here. I patted my lap. Paul moved his hand. What? You're tired, aren't you? The floor is no place for a nap. I tried to make it sound no nonsense, like having Paul's head in my lap was of absolutely no consequence to me, but the heat in my face told me I didn't succeed. He stared at me for a few seconds, the moment so long I was about ready to turn tail when he scooted across the floor and laid his head in my lap. Lap time, snap time. You alright? Yeah, I'm fine. Are you comfortable? A small smile crossed his lips. Very. Blech, gross. We stayed like that for a while. I ran my hands gently through his hair, giving him what I hoped was a relaxing scalp massage. Eventually Paul's breathing leveled and I realized he'd fallen asleep. It was nice. But oh my god, were my legs cramping. Eventually thunderous applause rang out on stage and I knew Jeff's speech was over. I nudged Paul awake and he rose, a drunk kitten after a nap by the fire. How long was I out? We're good. Jeff just ended. Class will start soon. Paul nodded, clearly not currently a part of this world. Thank you. No problem. Paul grabbed me around the shoulders and pulled me into a hug, burying his face into the side of my neck. You're great. Wait, you're not drunk, are you? Paul sighed contentedly and I gently peeled his hands from around me. We have to go to class. And we're not dating, remember? You basically turned me down. I thought it, but I didn't say it. He didn't need more stress, not with the tournament and the election literally in the next 2 days. But part of me was a little upset. Just because he knew I felt that way about him, he thought it was okay to exploit it? He really has the best intentions. If you can believe in that, you'll overcome everything. Mr. Saitoma's floated in. He really has the best of intentions, Hana. If you believe. If only you believe. Mr. Saitoma's voice floated across the backstage speakers and I jumped. Something wrong? No. I stood and dusted off my skirt. Let's get to class then. He nodded sleepily. Let's. No meeting today either. We'll be practicing for the tournament. Thank you. Thank you. I'm proud of my old person voice because I really want to be an old person. I'm very excited to be an old woman. Finally. I giggled and Paul smiled. I'll see you tomorrow then. He held up a fist to me. Good luck. Well, what's up, Nate? I'm sorry, people probably do that to you a lot. Hi, Nate. Thank you. You know, someday I'll just do an entire podcast only in that old person voice, and everybody will want to murder me. I'll tell you what, I'll record a, be kind to yourself, little one, or something like that, and then I'll just put it out for everybody, and you can have it, and you can use it as your little text notification. Eat your breakfast! So, like, for when you wake up, eat your breakfast, and when you go to sleep, time to go to bed. Sleep well, my dear. I awoke the next morning, eyes scratchy and head spinning. Todd will literally kill me. Like, Todd will cut me open. He would not. No. Apparently the stress of the day before took its toll. I felt almost sick as I put on my uniform and tried to talk myself down. Man, imagine if I did sound like that as an old person. Like, literally what I want to be when I'm an old person, aside from, like, an old woman who, like, dresses totally inappropriately for her age, like, wearing, like, short skirts and is like, I don't care, YOLO! I want to be an old woman who, like, I want to ride on the public transportation, and I want to kick young people out of my chair because it's my chair, I'm old, shut up, it's mine. And be like, get up, I'm your elder, and then sit down, and then I want to, like, watch people living their lives, and then go up to them and be like, you know, you should really be kinder to your partner. They are really putting up with a lot. I can tell just from watching you talk. And then, like, walk away because I'm a little old granny and nobody can do anything about it. And I'm like, Sure, I hadn't prepared it all, but I could still win, right? Be kind to yourself. That should be the new, like, you follow the fold, and an old lady voice comes from, be kind to yourself. Old Cara will be a hoot only for me. Like, everybody will be like, that is an annoying old woman, but like, whoa, me, I'm gonna have so much fun being old. It's why I'm excited about it. Strategy is always, right? Oh my god, yes, exactly. I want to be on a Segway. Like, when I'm an old woman, I want to have, like, like, I always thought that if I ever got rich, I would buy a big house. Not because I want a big house, but because I've always wanted to have, like, a tiny motorized vehicle that I drive around a house that I own. And so, if not a motorized vehicle, then, like, a Segway. And I want to be, like, choom, around my house just because I can. Choom. I stepped out into the fresh spring air, taking a deep breath. Young man, I did these podcasts back in my day, and you should listen and follow the fold. Our points total? 20 exactly. My event was one of the first, so I had to be there earlier than most. I set my shoulders and started across campus. The arcade at which the tournament was being held was much smaller than I expected. A golf cart. Drunk old woman driving a golf cart. I felt like I'd find some kind of convention, but instead it was a small local arcade filled with machines. Smaller rooms split off, which were probably where the individual competitions would take place throughout the day. I'm glad you guys are into it. Listen, if we're all old people, we can all have an old people party together. A few people milled about the space, generally older folk in their 20s and 30s. I glanced at the agenda in my hand and made my way to one of the back rooms. John, I'm so into it. That's true, I would probably fall asleep everywhere. But like, what are people can't do anything about it. I'm an old lady. If I fall asleep on you, you just have to let me sleep. Miss your stop. You don't have anything important. I'm an old lady and I'm asleep on you. You know? Thank you, Retina. I'm glad that I have corrected your inaccurate image of me. When I entered the competition, I found 2 chairs on an elevated platform, a computer and a projector sitting between them. Ian sat in one of the chairs, looking bored out of his mind. Ian!
Hey.
It's about time you showed up. I was starting to get worried you died. Aw, it's sweet of you to be concerned. Is it? Yeah? I got into the chair next to him. A man came over to me to check my name and club affiliation. I said I was a member of the Normal Boots Club, a small surge of pride making me sit up straight as I did. There were chairs lined up for people to watch us compete, and to my surprise, the entire room soon filled. The difference, Chan, is that now I'm gonna get to be brutally honest to total strangers. I searched the crowd to find the guys. There they were! They came to support me. All of them. I smiled, excitement flooding through me, and then was struck with terror. There's nothing like the threat of failing in front of all the people you cared about. As I stared worriedly into the crowd, a blur of movement caught my eye. Waleed was sitting with the rest of the Normal Boots hidden block clubs, beaming at me. When he saw me looking, he waved enthusiastically. Ian rolled his eyes.
Really?
Would it kill you to root for your own teammate? I giggled. Finally, the lights around us dimmed and the projector started up. The main menu of Dumbadoom's Revenge on screen. It was time to start. As the MC began his introduction and explained the rules of the game, Ian turned to me, a smirk on his face. Sure you're ready for this?
Yeah.
You bet I am! Ready to go? Aw, Kuei, I'm excited! The man turned to us. Ian and I nodded. Follow the fold! Yeah, pretty much. That's what I want to be. I'm gonna be it. I'm gonna be it. Then, 3, 2, 1. Start! The game began. I immediately clicked to fill my screen with 2 more lines of blocks. Ian began working with what he had. I scanned the blocks for the pink hearts. Eliminate Breton. Show me as I am. A dragon. I scanned the blocks for the pink hearts, eliminating them one by one, making combos where I could. I still wasn't advanced enough to plan tons of combos ahead of time, but I could make it much more likely for combos to happen through probability. The pinks were all but gone. Green leaves were next. Dumbadoom started flipping at the top of the screen. Ian must be comboing, which meant I had a few seconds before those blocks would fall. I set up a combo on top of the screen and started eliminating the orange blocks below it. Then it happened. A 6 combo jumped out at me from the screen. My eyes crossed as I stared at it in shock. I just had to move the top block over one space. Then as quickly as I saw it, it vanished. The blocks looked normal again. You're dead! Ian's blocks fell upon my humble kingdom and I slid the combo into place. 2, 3, 4 combo, 5 combo, 6 combo, 7 combo, 8 combo. As Ian's attack converted into blocks and hovered above mine, I set up several more combos and waited for them to fall. 10 combo, legendary! Dumbadoom farted out rainbows over Ian's zone and then... blocks. So many blocks. They didn't come in a chunk, they came in a torrential downpour, all over Ian's side, sliding from left to right and back again. Ian blinked, his hands and eyes moving frantically over the screen. I wasn't sure he had ever seen something like that before. I sure hadn't. I continued to combo while this was happening, but at this point there was no need. Ian's screen filled up. He kept trying to make combos until the very end, but... game over. Oh my god, make me like, you know that one goddess, who is the crone and the matron and the virgin or the maiden or whatever it is? Just do that. That was it. A fourth Cara wrote the whole story to begin with. The Cara controlling the strings. I won. I stared, dumbfounded, at the screen in front of me. Ian's mouth hung open. The room was silent. Ben?
Whoa!
Yeah, Hana!
Oh yeah!
I knew you could do it! I glanced up to see the room applauding. All of it, even the Hidden Block Club. The announcer was gaping at the screen. I've never seen a score that high. Certain I was red as a tomato, I stood to climb down off the platform. Not so fast. Ian stepped in front of me, grim as always. I braced myself for his infamous sarcasm. What did you do, Squid? I'm into it. But to my surprise, he laughed.
Hana.
That was a hell of a game, Hana. That's exactly what I wanted from you. He held a hand in the air, and I looked at it in confusion. Don't leave me hanging.
Yeah.
Oh! I high-fived him, and he clasped my hand in his. I'm pretty sure that high-five sound is literally just me. It's so sad. Thanks, Hana. That was fun. Then he disappeared into the pressing crowd. I wiggled my way through all the people, eager to find a continue. They weren't usually hard to find, even in a crowded room.
Yeah.
Hana, hell yeah! Congratulations! Yeah, I based it off Pokemon Puzzle League. Man, I love Pokemon Puzzle League. Ugh. He pulled me into a hug and I blushed furiously, practically throwing him off of me. Sorry. No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have...
Yeah!
Hell yeah, girl! You kicked some serious ass! Josh flicked an imaginary tear from his eye. I know, right? It's so sad! Ugh. I've never been prouder. I chuckled. Thanks, you guys. This isn't your event soon? We're up next, actually. You'll watch, won't you? Of course. Paul, Nick, and Josh crossed not to another room of the arcade, but to the main arcade room, where a small crowd gathered around a fighting game. That sound. Are you ready to get your asses kicked? Huh, really, dude? Us?
Oh, I know that's right.
There's no way you can beat our teamwork. It just won't happen. Say whatever you want about your teamwork. We're like brothers. We're telepathic. Yeah, we'll make something blow up on you if we have to. Patty's eyes slid to me and he patted Wally and Jimmy on the shoulders. No, we won't. No, we won't. We're very civilized people here. That's a terrible way to intimidate someone. The MC took the 6 guys' names on his clipboard, then smiled. The tag team beat 'em up is about to start. Who will be playing first? Nick and Waleed raised their hands. The MC gestured to the cabinet, and the two assumed their positions. To switch out, shout, tag! You'll be switching out in real time, so if you make any mistakes due to shoddy communication, that's your own fault. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Paul yawn heavily. He was almost dead on his feet. Don't tell me you didn't sleep again. 3, 2, 1. Start! I had no idea why he had to shout for the match to start, because the pair simply selected their characters, but one way or another the battle commenced. Nick and Waleed were well matched in the beginning, each taking small hits and attempting combos that the other immediately deflected. It was a tense battle, both hunched frustratingly close to the screens. I almost couldn't make anything out. Tag! Josh! Nick spun with the flourish away from the machine, and Josh leapt in, dealing a several-hit combo on Waleed. He was unprepared for the lower targeted hits Josh was throwing. After getting half of Waleed's health out, Jimmy raised his fists. Tag! I'm going in! He pulled Waleed out by the shoulder, who seemed to have forgotten that other people were even waiting to play. Jimmy and Josh went back and forth against each other, each managing to land a combo at some point, but it was slow going. Josh was clearly trying to go for environmental kills, and Jimmy stayed well away from those locations, making the match somewhat of a stalemate. Josh's health lowered and lowered until finally it seemed just one hit would do him in. Then Jimmy lunged. Tag! Paul! Josh spun away from the machine in a graceful pirouette, but Paul wasn't paying attention. Paul! He jumped and sped to the machine, but it was too late. The character had been defenseless for seconds, and Jimmy easily finished him off. Paul stared at the screen, his mouth slowly dropping open. Yeah, like I said, I pointed this out earlier. I accidentally used the wrong script when making this build of Asagao for me to play. I used an older script, and that's why there's like 1,010,000 typos, and also apparently no music here. Paul stared at the screen, his mouth slowly dropping open. It was the most anticlimactic loss I had ever seen.
Aww.
Whoop, there it is. Yeah, whoop, there it is. I didn't even get to play. I winced and went to Paul's side.
Hey!
Hey, you're fine. It wasn't that bad. Paul put his head in his hands. It was that bad. It was definitely that bad. With the match called, the MC thanked the crowd and ushered everybody away from the machines. The day was free play for tournament players, but not for anybody else, and he seemed keen to get the arcade their money's worth. Well, how about we go have a nap? That sound good? Paul shook his head slowly, but allowed me to lead him out of the mall, and toward a nice patch of grass. There he fell asleep, no doubt for the first time in days. By the time Paul and I came back inside, the MC was taking the stage, a list of numbers in his hand. When he was sure he had everybody's attention, he smiled charmingly. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this year's tournament is, unsurprisingly, the Normal Boots Club!
Yay!
Yes! I screamed and clapped and we swarmed on stage. The poor MC didn't know what hit him. As we celebrated, Paul grabbed the microphone. Please, everyone. I'm proud to announce the newest addition to the Normal Boots Club. Our lovely campaign manager and the most tolerant angel on the face of this woeful earth, Hana Mizuno. Hey Dave, how are you? The boys cheered as Josh pulled me to the front of the stage. Nick set something around my shoulders and I looked down to find a brand new Normal Boots jacket over my standard uniform. I beamed at Paul and he gave me a thumbs up and a wink.
Yeah.
Well then, we'll see you all again next year. Paul handed the microphone to the MC, then pulled me, Nick, and Josh in next to him. It's great that we won, really it is, but our weekend isn't over yet. No, it wasn't. Tomorrow was the day of the actual voting. The election results would be decided. Suddenly sobered, we decided to head back to campus for a day of tense attempts at relaxation, one word throbbing through each of our minds. Tomorrow. Considering Asagao was such a rich school, I expected the voting process to be a little more technological. Instead, students lined up to grab paper ballots and turn them in, ballots that were then tallied and handed to the teachers manning the voting booth. I also expected a sizable turnout, but apparently I thought wrong. The votes were tallied up in almost no time, despite Miss Shizuka and Mr. Saitomo chortling at each other like childhood friends. When the ballot was finally done, the result was placed in a sealed envelope and given to the standing president to read before the auditorium, and the voters who stayed for the results. Standing president, meaning Paul. With a grim set to his jaw, he carefully peeled the envelope open. Your new acting president for this year is... He lifted the card to his face, squinting at what it said. Jeff. Jeff is the new student council president. Paul set his hands down, defeated in almost every sense of the word. A beaming Jeff bounded on stage and took the podium, glancing over his new populace. Everyone, thank you so much for taking this leap of faith and trusting me. Really, thank you so much. Paul stumbled off stage. Nick, Josh, and I followed him. He slumped against a wall, knees pulled to his chest. Hey, Paul? He looked at us with a sad smile. I guess I can kiss that dream goodbye. There's always next year. I realized the folly as soon as I said it. Paul was graduating, so were Nick and Josh. There was no next year for them. Nick, Josh, and I knew there was nothing we could say. Instead, we lined up next to Paul, pulling our knees into our chests as well. Look at us, the failed campaigners. They could take a picture of us and use it as a movie poster. Paul chuckled. The story of 4 abject failures and their attempts to defy fate. Hey, I would watch it, even if the ending was a bit depressing. All 4 of us laughed, only the slightest bit of bitterness audible. So, Paul, what are you going to do with all your extra free time? I think I'm going to... He leaned his head against the wall. Paul? He's asleep. Again? As we stood guard over the president of our hearts, Nick and Josh discussed various ways of getting enough funding to make a film. Just because Asagao wasn't going to help them get the equipment didn't mean it was impossible, especially now that they had more time than ever. I smiled. Somehow people always found their way through. I closed my eyes too and heard Paul mumble something next to me. Thanks for being my campaign manager, Hana. Really and truly, thank you. Batted! Get fricked! Oh, get wrecked! Get wrecked! Get wrecked, get wrecked, get wrecked. Okay. So here's a question. Do you guys want to try the like, because this was like, okay, there are 4 endings for most of the routes. And some of the endings are, so, you know, there's a worst ending. There's 2 worse endings. Or we could try and get the bad ending. So I'm just going to make a straw poll. I can't read your minds. The chat could be misleading me. So go ahead and vote. Remember, your votes count. Work together on this one. Work together on this one. Listen. Listen, I said you had to work together. Wow, you guys really are working together. I have to let you know that B is winning. God, I'm such an asshole. So far we got PS. Oh my god.
Yay!
Yeah, because this is BS. This is cyberbullying. You guys are really working together, though. All right, we're gonna try for the best end. because best is the one that won. I am just gonna real quickly, I'm not gonna lie, pull out my game files and look at them. Just to make sure. Just to make sure. Because there were a couple of decisions where I was like, you know what, I don't even remember anymore what the thing was. Like, I don't even remember how my own game works anymore. Yeah, see, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I totes my goats thought that. I know where we went wrong, guys. I know where we went wrong. Alright, so we're gonna speed through. Oh, but first we have to watch the credits. Wow, my name is in the credits. What's that? That's weird. Good night, Agent. Oh, I do not remember that off the top of my head, Glacier. I think that they're mentioned in the credits, though. Yay, Todd! Hey, look, it's Kate! Thanks for the help, Kate. Lucius the Ninja. Joe Armstrong. Joe Armstrong, I believe, was the one who did Kakusu. One of those dudes paid a lot of money to put himself in the game and literally never responded to us again after that. And I was like, are you okay? The Asagao credits music actually goes on for a long time and is really good, but we didn't have enough credits for it.
Asagao Academy, Normal Boots Club.
Hello. Alright, let's do this time.
Oh.
We're gonna speed through. I love skip mode. Let me just make sure that it's actually on the proper. Yeah, it is. We're good. Meow. Sean, was it you? Yeah, I put the Nerds in Space. The Nerds in Space was real. It doesn't take that long to skip through them. Oh, it wasn't you? Fuck, I don't remember what I was supposed to pick on this choice. Guys, help, I don't remember how to do my own. Oh, here it is. La 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 la. All right. Well, thank you, John. We gotta talk platforms. Paul's eyes glittered.
Yeah.
I knew you'd see it my way. I didn't like being put on the spot like that, blah blah. We already talked about that. It doesn't matter what choice you make on that. I think I know what I put as the right answer. I'm gonna double check though because I don't like being wrong. not that one. It's not that one. It's not that one. It's this one. Yeah, that's what I thought. You were supposed to say that's not what I want. Because that's what Paul was asking, what she wanted. Paul rubbed his chin carefully. Okay, then what do you want? I want the student body to want to vote for you. Because, like, Paul will listen to what Hana wants. The thing is, Hana, like, thinks that Paul doesn't care. That's not actually true, though. Just because they talk over her all the time doesn't mean that they don't actually care what she thinks. It just means that they're idiots who talk over her all the time. So if she is, forceful about the fact that that's happening, they'll listen to her. And that's kind of what the continue route is about, is Hana finding her own voice. There is a way to get the radio interview to go better. We just didn't do it. Good night, Kue! Yeah, we're doing good. Okay. It's so much faster with Skip. That might have been the wrong choice, but that's okay. I think actually Over My Dead Body is the better choice for that one. Not 100% sure. It doesn't matter what you pick. The honesty integrity decision does matter because basically you can trip a flag in the earlier portion of the route based on the articles that you were doing. So like with the whole article thing, if you publish the article, then you're gonna fail the radio interview because you're going behind Paul's back. And then if you lie about publishing the article, then you get points docked if you vote for honesty in that choice screen. Like if that flag is tripped and there's like a thing about Hana being a liar, then you get docked points. And that's part of the thing. This choice doesn't show up. This choice right here, right now, I'm pretty sure this choice doesn't show up if you choose not to publish the article. Because by publishing the article, Hana's showing that she's willing to go behind what Paul's explicitly said that he wants for her own gain. To like do what she thinks is right. Which like, I mean, that's fine, but she's also doing exactly what she's mad at Paul for doing by doing that, so. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure the dead body choice was the right one, but who cares? Yeah, we did it! We did it! Hana won the tournament, and now Paul's about to win the tournament. I mean, well, he's not going to win, but he's not going to fail that badly, I think. The 3 nod, I've already saved there, Maya. A decision tree for the routes? Oh my god, the decision tree for Jared's route is so messed up because there are so many flags that you can trip in Jared's route. There's so many of them. Jared's route. Like, everybody says that Shane's route is intense. Shane's route is only intense because there's so few choices, so you don't have as many fail-safes. Jared's route is intense because there's so many flags that you can trip. So many. The 3 nodded grimly. For all we knew, the result of the tournament depended on this. Josh and Paul stretched themselves out, then assumed their strategic locations behind Nick. 3, 2, 1, start. Josh spun away from the machine in a graceful pirouette, and Paul leaped into action. He pummeled his fist straight into Jimmy's face and unleashed a ferocious combo that Jimmy wasn't able to extract himself from. Tag! Caddy! That's fair. Jared and Heidi did get it right on the first go, which I mean, I think they understood what Jared's route was about. Caddy jumped in onto the machine, pulling himself away from Paul's attacks. They were both on their last leg of life, prowling around each other like wary tigers. One miss from either of them meant the match and possibly the tournament. I had no idea how they were keeping their cool. So, Caddy, I never knew you and Ian were such close friends. Moosey and I are not friends! Caddy slammed his fists on the arcade cabinet, and in that moment of distraction, Paul pulled a swift kick to his ankles. Caddy crumpled like a pop balloon, and the match was won.
Yay!
Paul! Paul, you did it! I ran to hug him, only to find myself squished underneath Nick and Josh, who were hugging him as well. We formed a single four-human entity, a malformation bobbing up and down in the middle of the arcade cabinet. Yes, yes, wonderful, wonderful. If you don't mind, please relocate. This is turning into a bit of a traffic jam. With the match called, the MC thanked the crowd and ushered everybody away from the machines. The day was free play for tournament, blah, 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 blah. We peeled ourselves off of each other. So, what do you say we go play some games? I thought you'd never ask. We probably wouldn't even have noticed the MC taking the stage to announce the winner if he hadn't cleared his throat like he had pneumonia. When he was sure he had everybody's attention, he smiled charmingly. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this year's tournament, blah, 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 we already did that. So here we go. When the ballot was finally done, the result was placed in a sealed envelope and given to the standing president to be read before the auditorium and the voters who stayed for the results. The standing president, meaning Paul. With a grim set to his jaw, he carefully peeled the envelope open. Your new acting president for this year is... He lifted the card to his face, squinting at what it said. Me! It's me! Paul looked up from the envelope, a smile of pure disbelief lighting his face.
Yeah!
I won! I'm president again! It wasn't much of a formal announcement, but judging from the student reactions, Paul could be forgiven just this once. A cheer rose up from the majority of the students, though a few made faces and sulked. I ran onto the stage and into Paul's arms, where he pulled me into a deep bear hug. Small popping noises went off above us, confetti sparkling from the ceiling. Oh, she's so cute! Hana's so cute! I love Hana, she's so cute! Paul pulled away from me and tucked a stray bit of hair behind my ear. Hana, I have a bit of a confession to make. As much as I love honesty, I wasn't being honest to you or to myself. As we spent more and more time together managing the campaign and messing ourselves silly, I found myself drawn to you. I thought it was just a matter of the election, that I wanted your skills or your aura. I knew Nick and Josh had a thing for you and I didn't want to step on their toes. So I did everything I could to convince myself my feelings weren't romantic, but I can't do that anymore. I followed you all on your date because the idea of someone else going on a date with you was driving me insane. And now... now I can finally admit that maybe it wasn't really the election that I wanted to win. Well, I mean it was. Definitely it was. But even more than that, I wanted to win your heart.
Paul.
Paul. That's the single cheesiest thing I've ever heard you utter. Really? Is it? I swear I've said much worse things. Cheese, like craft style. I'm gonna need some bread to put that on, it's so bad. Paul rolled his eyes. Uh-huh, I'm sure. I'm sure you don't like it one bit. Well, I didn't say that. I giggled helplessly and Paul lifted me into the air, planting a swift kiss on my lips. Ha! Now what are you gonna do about it? Blushing furiously, I leaned in and kissed him back, right there in front of everybody. Oi, oi, lovebirds! Stop it, you're gonna make us all sick! Paul and I untangled ourselves from each other, blushing furiously. What on earth are we gonna do with you two? I swear, that was the most painful thing in the world to watch. You two are so obvious. Obvious? I am not obvious! In any case, Josh slung his arms around Nick and Paul's neck, who slung their arms around mine. I reciprocated until we were in a football-like huddle. It seems like we were always a four-person team. We just didn't know it. We're glad to have you on, Hana. I beamed. The days I spent watching the three of them have fun without me were long gone. Now I was not only part of the Normal Boots Club, but also part of them. I'm so happy. Oh god, she's crying. What do we do? What do we do? Find some chocolate! Find a stuffed animal! Find anything comforting quick! As the three of them darted around the stage like maniacs, I giggled. It was the start of a great year. The credits started rolling and Paul paused the video. Well, what do you guys think? Good night, Brazen. After months of work, the film club's first feature-length movie was complete, and the Normal Boots Club were the first privileged to see it. Paul, Nick, and Josh stared us down. We shifted uncomfortably. Well, I mean, it's not bad. Especially not for a student film.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I can see you put some thought into the cinematography, trying to make it the third character in the story.
Alright.
We did! Yeah, you tried. That was utter shite. It wasn't that bad, though. Not for your first work. The three of them seemed to collapse in on themselves. It was as if Shane's words were a black hole and their souls all matter in the physical universe. You're only going to go up from here. You've never made a film before, and there's a lot of talent in here. Really, there is. Thanks, guys. I guess we'll just try harder. By the way, Hana, did you see Mai's latest column in the paper? As Paul, Nick, and Josh started the film club, they had to make some hard decisions. There was no way they'd be able to continue the Continue column while also being in the Normal Boots Club, running a student council, and making films. When I told them about my secret ambition to be a writer, Paul's eyes lit up.
What?
Another aspiring writer? That's perfect! Absolutely perfect! Of course, Mai's personality translated particularly well to paper, coming through like a demented foghorn. Unfortunately, this meant people often had a bone to pick with her opinions and analyses. Yeah, she said Sanic Zoom actually wasn't that bad of a game. Are you sure she's alright in the head? I could hear Mai shouting, "It is for the greater good! I serve my muse and live only for the truth," without even thinking about it. Honestly, I'm not too sure about that. Well, it was fun showing you guys this, but we're gonna go get back to the council. Word has it Jeff has some ideas that could improve Asagao, and we don't want to keep him waiting. Paul wrapped it. That was Hana calling her a demented foghorn. Paul wrapped an arm around my waist and I grinned. Sure. I mean, I have also made films before. How long they take really depends on what you're trying to do. And, like, whether you take into account the limited resources that you have. Life at Asagao was never particularly easy, quiet, or calm. But it was, and would always be, fun. Best end! Hey! She's Mai's bestie. Yeah, only Hana gets to insult Mai. So that was Paul's best end. I like it because there's people who really like Paul's routes a lot. And then there's people who are like, I wasn't sold on the romance. And I'm like, that's really fair, honestly. Go to sleep, Clue! You guys want to get the worst end? Yeah, Paul's route wasn't about the romance really that much. There are other routes that are more focused on the romance, but there are also other routes in Asagao that aren't as romance focused, kind of like Satch's and others. Night, Kate. Thanks for coming. You guys want to do the worst end? Want me to stream Stardew next stream? It'll be nice to stream a chill game, yeah. Not 100% sold on Mai? Oh, Paul. Okay, I was like, what are you talking about, Sean? Basically, the entire reason he was being a jerk through Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 were because he was denying his feelings for Hana. You like this because it wasn't as romance-heavy? You like a bit of romance, but you love a character really growing as a person. I mean, that's the thing. We wanted each route to tell its own story, and so not all the routes are romances. Pretty much. Mr. Saitomo sat in his desk chair, a contented sigh leaving his lips. It's always exciting to be involved in a good story. He pulled out several thick tomes from the bottom of his desk, searching for one in particular. Finally discovering an old, red leather-bound book, he tossed it on top of his desk and took out a magnifying glass. The book itself was written in extremely fine print, and Mr. Saitomo's eyes were not the same as they once were. It took him ages to locate the passage he was searching for. When he finished reading it, he sat back, a slight smile on his lips. It's so sad, Momoka. I wish you could see her now. She'll become something great, I know. She could hardly not with her peculiar talent. I hope you're not angry. She couldn't help it. He sighed, fingering a silver scarf at the edge of his desk. At least MOPS is an easy disease. You departed and felt no pain, and you left a great legacy for your daughter to follow. But it's cruel. I suppose the main character's powers have to come from somewhere. It would be unfair if they were simply born with more fortune than the rest of us. At some point, though, she will find out. She'll find a picture of herself when she was young, before her hair was pink. Back when her mother was still alive, before she was a protagonist. He took out a pipe and lit it, dropping a small amount of tobacco inside. I only hope that she does not blame herself. Mother of the protagonist syndrome. It's a cruel world we live in.
Asagao Academy, Normal Boots Club.
LOL! Okay. That's fair, John. That's fair. You know what? That's a fair interpretation, John. You know what they say about Disney moms and anime moms and like mothers in general, Harry Potter moms? Like, you know what they say about... I like mops. Do you guys really want the worst end? Do you really want to end on the worst end? Her hair in a ponytail pulled over her shoulder, like right here. Like with the wrap right here over her shoulder. Good night, everybody! Okay, worst end it is. Cover your eyes if you don't want the worst end. Right. I won't tell anybody anything.
Really?
You won't? Caddy looked like a puppy just brought in from the rain, staring at me like a savior. It was almost enough to get me to reconsider. Almost. Hana, I knew you were a good person. Shane tried to tell me otherwise, but I stuck to my guns and now you've proved it. not these guns. That was a poor choice of words there. Sorry.
Farewell.
Thanks again, Hana. You won't regret this. I nodded happily. The electoral speeches were tomorrow. That would be the perfect time to launch the attack. I giggled, then rushed towards Primrose House. It wouldn't do to be caught out late all alone. I'd have to explain myself, and then the timing would be ruined. I grinned. Sleep would come easy tonight. So we skip to the part where they're given their election speeches. Hana talks to Paul, then she goes to sit in the audience. For a moment, I wondered if they knew what I was planning, but then I giggled. There was no way they'd know. Not even Paul knew I had an ace up my sleeves. He worked so hard. I just wanted to make sure he got what he deserved in the end. The better man should win. Their eyes followed me into my seat, and I waved happily at them. I definitely deserved that. Blah blah blah, people filling. Paul gives a speech. I wanted to check on him, but if I was going to see my plan to fruition, I had to stay put. So Hana doesn't follow him out to see how he is after his speech. Jeff took his position on stage, a script in hand. He glanced out across the audience solemnly, surveying the population that would perhaps eventually be relying on him for protection, for salvation. He opened his mouth to speak. Ladies and gentlemen. And I pressed the switch I had hidden in my jacket pocket. With something close to a roar, the banner unfurled itself over Jeff's head. He ran from underneath it, scared half to death. The banner snapped into place just over the podium. Hidden block smuggles guns. The phrase was plastered across the center of the banner, Caddy's guns taped neatly below. As people screamed and several started to leave the theater, Jeff spluttered on stage.
What?
Whoop, whoop. Paul ran on stage, evidently having heard the commotion, and helped Jeff up. Jeff pointed to the banner and Paul's eyes widened. He looked to me in the crowd where I stood, trying to fight the smirk off my face. I couldn't. He mouthed something I couldn't hear over the commotion, but after a moment, I recognized it was my name. You win! Paul shook his head slowly, horror overtaking his expression. He looked away and helped Jeff backstage. Somehow, I felt I wouldn't be welcome if I followed them back there. Instead, I went to my room, not in the mood for class. The tournament was tomorrow, and I could use the extra practice. I woke the next morning, eyes scratchy and head spinning. Uh-huh. So she goes to the tournament, she tries to talk to Ian, Ian doesn't want to talk to her. Ian shot me the meanest look I ever received, like I tried to kill his favorite puppy or end reruns of Narrow Village. He turned away, not wanting to hear anything from me. I got into the chair next to him. A man came over to me to check my name and club affiliation. She's like, I'm part of the Normal Boots Club. She searches the crowd to find the guys. And there they were, glaring at me. They did not come here to cheer me on. The Hidden Block Club was nowhere to be seen. Ian had nobody cheering him on, but I had a feeling they were busy with their own situations.
All right.
Hey, good luck, dude! Gerard raised an arm, shouting across the room. Ian's eyebrows raised. Thanks? Yeah, thanks, man. And they start to play. Sure you're ready for this? You bet I am! And they go to play. The announcer was gaping at the screen. Blah, blah, blah. Hana's doing well. Not so fast, says Ian. Ian stepped in front of me, grim as always. I know what you did. I have no idea what you're talking about. You should be ashamed of yourself if you ask me. At some point, you're going to be a lonely old woman, and you'll look back on your life and... Ian stopped mid-sentence and shook his head. Forget it. You're not worth it. He disappeared into the pressing crowd. With Ian gone, I turned to find Continue, but they were nowhere in the room. Maybe their event already started. That had to be it. Nodding to myself, I sped into the main room. Paul, Nick, and Josh were standing aimlessly next to a fighting game arcade cabinet. Josh was fighting on the single-player campaign, looking bored out of his mind. Next to him stood the MC, who was scanning the crowd with a frown. Not showing, then? He made a note on a clipboard, then turned to continue. Looks like you guys win by default. I clapped my hands together happily, but the boys frowned. Alright, thanks. The man tucked his clipboard beneath his arm and headed off to a different part of the arcade, to some other event. I ran up to the trio, jumping and squealing.
Yay!
You did it! Paul walked away. Nick and Josh stared from me to Paul and back again, then, with apologetic shrugs, followed him off. Rude. I didn't see what the problem was. They won, didn't they? The Normal Boots Club was guaranteed to win, weren't they? Wasn't this what they wanted? But when the MC finally announced the winner, the Normal Boots Club!
Yay!
Yes! I screamed and clapped and dashed onto the stage, only to find that I was the only one up there. I glanced questioningly down at the rest of the club, who stared at me with something like hurt. The MC handed me the trophy and the microphone. On behalf of the Normal Boots Club, thank you? I practically threw the microphone back at the MC, looking again at the club, but they weren't there anymore. They left the arcade. It took me an hour to lug that stupid trophy home, and once it was there, I didn't even want to look at it. Still, it wasn't all bad. The next day was the actual election, and when Paul was announced as winner, he'd be so happy. Right? Considering Asagao was such a rich school, I expected the voting process to be a little more technological. Nope, not skipping ahead. I expected a sizable turnout, but apparently I thought wrong. With a grim set to his jaw, he carefully peeled the envelope open. Your new acting president for this year is... He lifted the card to his face, squinting at what it said. Me. Paul set down the card, a strange look passing over his face. It's me. I bounded across the stage to him, positively beaming.
Yay!
You did it! Paul, you did it! You won! Paul glared at me, a look of pure loathing in his eyes. I won nothing. He ripped the card in two and tossed it into my face. I flinched.
What?
What the hell? Why aren't you happy? You got exactly what you wanted, didn't you? We played dirty just like you wanted to in the beginning, right? I don't see what the problem is. You were fine with this in the beginning.
No.
This isn't how I wanted to win. I didn't want to hurt my friends. I didn't want to get Caddy expelled and sent back to England. I didn't want to force people to vote for me. I don't understand. He threw up his hands. Forget about it. Forget it. I'm finishing up my plan and then I'm resigning from my position. Someone else can be president. Someone who actually earned it. And you? He looked me up and down, and for a moment I thought he was actually going to spit on me. I never want to see you near me or my friends. Never again. Paul? As he walked away, confetti balls popped above me. The colorful pieces of paper fell around me, tickling my neck and landing in my hair. I did as Paul wished. I stopped visiting him and the Normal Boots Club. At first it was terribly lonely, but after a while... Mai, what do you say we start up that band?
What?
What band? The Pardon Mice. I'll learn to play the drums, and you can sing and play bass or whatever. I think it'd be fun. I sat up with a jolt. Really? You're up for that?
Yeah!
Of course. It wasn't like I had anything else to do.
Yay!
All right. In that case, I've had this idea for a while. Life was hard. Decisions were hard. Things could always go wrong. But no matter what, things could also get better. As Maya and I started composing songs in our tiny little dorm room, I started to feel happy again. I felt like I belonged again. No matter how badly things went, I always had her. That was what truly mattered. Yeah, Hana gets off pretty easy in that route. Well, you guys wanted to end with the worst end, and we ended with the worst end! Yay! Yeah, it's not really that bad. I didn't remember what happened. Man, I'm sorry to let you guys down by not having it be the worst end ever. Yeah, you did. See, I'm seeing like very different reactions. Some people saw that worst ending and it affected them greatly, and some people saw that worst ending and were like, eh. I mean, that's true, TH. No, there's nothing wrong about reporting him. There is something wrong about the way that she did it, though. Well, Jared's route is a lot about... Jared's route is a lot about, putting up images and putting up walls between yourself and other people, being afraid to let other people see you for who you really are.
Asagao Academy Normal Boots Club.
Hi, Shane. And so, Jared's route has a lot of different flags that can happen when you trigger his complexes of, like, if you trigger something that makes him feel like he can't trust you, or if Hana acts in certain ways that makes him kind of suspicious of her, then his walls go up, and you get different choices based on those walls, where you have to try and find your way around them, and that's not really straightforward. And so that's why Jared's route choices get kind of complicated. I don't think any of the worst ends are really that terrible. Aside from, like, the Jacques route. I think that that ending hits some people harder than others. And I think that it just kind of depends on, like, either experiencing similar past situations or just how mortifying you find public humiliation to be, or, you know, there's like a bunch of different things that can come into play with you for that worst ending that makes it hit harder. Yeah, Portal. See, Kyle, in that case, you definitely tripped one of his flags way early on in the route. You tripped one of his flags because you don't even get that choice if you don't trip that flag. I really don't remember what the worst ends are. I remember Gerard's. Oh, I remember PBG's. Oh, I remember Jared's. Ooh, never mind. It's okay, some of them are a little bad. That makes a lot of sense, Cubed. Yeah, they didn't get that option because they didn't end up triggering the flag. I mean, 2H, you have no idea how much time and money went into this game. It, like, we couldn't do more CGs. That, like, Danny was physically injuring herself. There was no way. It's a free game. We didn't get paid for it. So, like, hey. In the worst end, she hurts everybody, not just herself. What's next is we're gonna chill stream. We're gonna chill stream on Thursday. That's what I want to do. And we're not gonna stream more tonight, I think. I think I'm probably gonna end it here. If that's alright with you guys. Thanks, Kyle. Playing it now, I just want to do better in our next game. Is how I feel. I'm like, okay, Asagao's alright. I want to make a better game, though. I want to make a much better game. Yeah, Chucklefish is putting out a witch game now. Like, what is that? Thank you. I feel bad. I feel bad. I feel bad. Hang on. I wanna... Well, before we go, either way, we do need to have a... What's your good thing that you want to share? Yeah, I have seen a VN like that, Retin. Taco bitch? Thank you, Egg. What? You don't have a good thing to share for today or something you're looking forward to tomorrow? What is that? The Frozen musical? Let me know if it's any good. I haven't heard anything about it. Aw, that's nice, Toolbox. Right, Syrian? They pay you to get the good answer, or pay you? They want you to get the good answers. They don't care how you do it. Well, that's nice, Zach. Oh, congratulations, Watsonia! I hope it goes well. I'm glad for you, Hunky Bill Nye. I'm very happy for you, Chan. You know what? I think everybody can empathize with having one of those days. And I'm glad that you still had some sense of satisfaction after the day ended. Yo, Len. I know, right? I spent too much money on that game over time. Like, way too much money. So that was pretty good. I hope it was good, Cubed. I hope you enjoyed it! Oh, it's always a good feeling when you've gotten something like that out of the way. Clever words. Aw, Kyle, that's so sweet. Toolbox, I'm glad for you! That's awesome. Thanks, Agent. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, you bought real- They have real cards, Len? Man, that's nice. A new apartment, Coda? Congratulations. I am glad you had fun, Egg. I had friends do a lot of things to help me out today, and what started out as like a super terrible day ended up being a pretty good day. So that's my good thing for today. And tomorrow I get to sleep, and I'm looking forward to that. Oh, that's nice, Kita. It's a real card game? I'm gonna have to look into that, Len. Oh, it's the credits again. Yes. Thank you guys for coming and watching the stream and watching Paul's endings. Thank you for giving your opinions on Paul. I know that Paul is a pretty dicey route. It was the most fun to write though, probably aside from Jared's. Oh man, I hope you enjoyed your day off, Colin. And thank you to the new apprentices. Thank you to the new Fold members who have continue being Fold members. Thank you to everybody who donated. Thank you to everybody who watched. Thank you to everybody supporting. Thank you. And go watch some Continue. That's a good way to end it. Go watch some Continue, and good night.